let's talk about the final Shannara book in the original Shannara trilogy, the Wishsong of Shannara. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is the Wishsong? Because, we knew what the Sword of Shannara was. It was a sword. The elf stones were stones. Well, the Wishsong is this sort of song that Bryn and Jer Ohmsford, Will and Eritrea's kids, have. It's a song that, for Jer, it's illusion magic, along like the sword. For Bryn, it's actual reality. So, what happens in this book? Well, Al-Anon's back, yet again, to call on the Ohmsfords for help. He initially wants to go find Will, but he finds Bryn and Jer instead with their friend Roan Lee. This be Minion Lee's great-grandson. And so Al-Anon takes Bryn and Roan on an adventure to stop the Ildatch. And the Ildatch is the book of all evil, pretty much. It's what the Warlock Lord possessed, sort of thing. And it's created something new. We had the Skull Bearers. Now we have the Mord Wraiths. Instead of them flying around, they walk like men, which leads to some creepy stuff. And the gnomes are back tenfold. So Bryn goes off on this adventure, and Jer is supposed to stay home and wait for his parents, because he's kind of young and his magic's pretty much useless against the Ildatch, because the Ildatch is not of illusion. So Jer runs into a gnome called Slanter, and Slanter is a tracker. They're really good at hunting things and tracking things, and hence the name Tracker. He's captured by Slanter after giving him a 3-day chase, and he's caught by Slanter and a whole bunch of gnomes. Then they run into a guy by the name of Garrett Jax. Garrett Jax is a weapons master. He's the best thing at killing you can possibly imagine. He kills all the gnomes, but lets Slanter live. So Jer and Slanter are met by the Man of the Silver River. Now you might remember him because he comes in periodically in these books. Like he serves a purpose, and in this one he tells Jer that Bryn's going to die. Now, these two men are going to be his protectors. Well, not that she's going to be guys. She's going to be lost to darkness, is what it is, and Jer desperately needs to save her and save the Silver River, which is being poisoned by the Mord Wraiths. Meanwhile, Bryn and Roan run into some companions, like Kimber Bow and her disappearing Mord cat, big old cat named Whisper, and her grandfather Coglane, and they go into the Ildatch. Meanwhile, Jer assembles like a team of people, and they go to save the Silver River. That's pretty much this book. What did I think of this book? It's the best of the trilogy, in my opinion. A lot more is at stake in this, and I will get into spoilers near the end of the video. So overall, I thought this was an excellent read and a great way to end the trilogy. Give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was a fantastic read. Now we will get into spoiler territory. So one of the reasons I liked this book is that it didn't pull its punches. And what I mean by this was, yes, spoilers to the Elfstones as well. When Amber Lee becomes the tree, that was like really breaking. That made me really upset. But nothing pales in comparison to when Al-Anon faces off with the Jackera. The Jackera is like this nasty red thing. It's a demon from an older time. And the Mordwraiths summon it because they know Al-Anon's going to lead Bryn and Roan this way. And so Al-Anon knows death is imminent, and he goes and he fights the Jackera. And loses. He wrecks the Jackera for a time, but it comes back later to fight Garrett Jax at near the end of the book. But oh, jeez, it was gut wrenching, and it's a long battle between the two of them. And then Roan jumps in and he gets his ass handed to him, of course, because he's a man. He's not a druid. He's not going to hold his own against the gigantic demon. So that happens about halfway through the book. So then you lose all hope. And it gets to a point where Brynn thinks she's going evil. And in a way she is. And you like, are they actually going to save the land, the Four Lands this time? Or is it just they're just going to fail? A lot of that happens in this book. We finally get to see the Eastland, which we haven't really seen before past Coalhaven. A lot of gnomes. We get to see spider gnomes, which they act like spiders, but they're gnomes, and they run on all fours and stuff. That was cool. A lot of different creatures. Overall, it's a fantastic read and a great way to end this trilogy. I don't know where they go from here, or Terry Brooks went from here, because, well, there's really nowhere to go. I mean, eventually there'll be something, but there's no magic in the lands anymore. Not really. Brynn and Jer are pretty much the end of that. And this is something that's really talked about in this book. But in every book, the magic affects the protagonist in some way. And for Will, he knew it had affected him. He didn't know what specifically had gone wrong with him at the end of the Elfstones. And, his children become these weird magical freaks of nature, for lack of a better term. And it's very excellent. The Wishsong is a very interesting thing. It's not like they're actually like singing. They just kind of make the noise, like some sort of noise or something, or they imitate something. In Jer's case, when it comes to his illusion, he imitates like hissing, and spiders came out, appeared on something, and it's just really cool stuff. It's a book that's well worth your time. So once again, I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Go check it out. Have a nice day, people.